The wind blew softly as footsteps struck the dusty road. In the days when Israel had no king, when every man did what was right in his own eyes, a Levite lived in the hill country of Ephraim, far from his homeland. He had taken for himself a concubine, a young woman from Bethlehem in Judah. But one day, after quarrels and bitterness, she left him and returned to her father's house. For months past, the Levite's heart remained heavy. He decided to go to Bethlehem to bring her back. He saddled his donkey, took his servant, and set out. Upon arriving, the young woman's father welcomed him gladly. He urged him to stay, to eat, to rest. 3 days passed in feasting, but on the 4th day, the Levite rose early, ready to depart. The father, with warm persistence, said, "Stay a while longer, eat, regain your strength. The day is still young." And so, day after day, the departure was delayed, until on the 5th day, as evening approached, the Levite resolved it was time to go. Even as the sun sank, he, his concubine, and his servant set out. The sound of hoofbeats echoed as night drew near. The servant spoke cautiously, "Master, the night is coming. Why not stop in Gibeah? We could rest there." The Levite replied firmly, "No, we will not enter a city of foreigners. We will go on to Gibeah among our own people." But when they reached Gibeah, a town of Benjamin, no door was opened to them. They sat in the square, abandoned, until an old man, also from Ephraim, saw them. The old man, with kindness in his voice, asked, "Where have you come from? Why are you sitting out here?" The Levite answered, relieved, "We have come from Bethlehem, but no one has offered us shelter. We have bread, wine, all we need, except a roof over our heads." The old man took them in. They fed the donkeys, washed their feet, and in safety shared a meal. But then, they heard low voices outside, laughter, and then pounding on the door. The men of the city shouted harshly, their voices joined in an ugly chorus. "Bring out the man who came into your house. We want to have sex with him." The old man, horrified, stepped outside and pleaded desperately, "Do not do this wicked thing. Here is my virgin daughter and his concubine. Take them instead, but do not commit such an outrage against this man." The men would not listen, and then the Levite gave them his concubine. The night was long, unspeakable. At dawn, she crawled back to the door and collapsed, lifeless. Silence lingered until the song of a bird broke the still air. When the Levite opened the door, he saw her there, her hands on the threshold. Without a word, he lifted her onto the donkey and departed. When he reached home, he took a knife and cut her body into 12 pieces, sending them to all the tribes of Israel. There was heavy breathing, then the roar of a crowd, and the people's voices, in shock, rose up. "Nothing like this has ever happened. Since the days we came from Egypt, nothing so terrible has been done. What will we do?" And so, the seed of discord was sown. But that is another story. There, the sound of a multitude could be heard, footsteps and murmurs in solemn tone. Israel had risen as one man. From Dan in the north to Beersheba in the south, from the plains of Gilead to the valleys of Judah, 400,000 warriors marched to Mizpah, and there, before the Lord, they united with a single purpose, justice. The chiefs of every tribe were present, countless warriors, ready for battle, steadfast in their resolve. When the tribe of Benjamin learned that Israel had gathered at Mizpah, they understood that the crime committed in Gibeah would not go unpunished. In the assembly at Mizpah, there was a sudden hush, followed by the sound of a man stepping forward. The Levite spoke, his voice broken, trembling with grief. "I came to Gibeah in the land of Benjamin, with my concubine, to rest. But in the darkness of night, men of the city came. They surrounded the house where we lay. They sought my life. Instead, they took hers. They abused her until she died." The air filled with heavy breathing and murmurs of outrage. The Levite continued, now with a firmer voice, "I cut her body into 12 pieces, and sent each part to the tribes, so that all might see the horror done in Gibeah." Cries of fury, swords striking shields. The reply was swift. Like thunder, the voice of the people roared, "None of us will return to our homes. Neither those who dwell in tents, nor those who live under roofs. Gibeah will pay for its crime." The people shouted as one, "Gibeah shall be punished." Soldiers marched, their armor creaking. They decided, 1 in every 10 men would bring provisions. The rest would march. Messengers were sent to Benjamin, "Hand over the criminals." "We will purge this evil from Israel." But the Benjamites closed their ears. 26,000 Benjamite warriors, 700 of them expert slingers, able to strike a hair's breadth, were gathered at Gibeah, ready for war. The sound of trumpets and battle cries rose. On the first day defeat, 22,000 Israelites fell. On the second more blood, 18,000 slain. Israel wept at Bethel, before the ark, fasting and crying out to the Lord. "Shall we return to battle?" God, his voice echoing with authority, replied, "Go. Tomorrow I will deliver them into your hand." There was a rush of movement, whispers of strategy. On the third day, the trap was set. Israel feigned retreat. The Benjamites, confident, gave chase. But as they pursued, smoke rose from Gibeah. The city was in flames. The hidden soldiers had struck, setting it ablaze. Shouts of panic, clashing swords, crackling fire. The Benjamites looked back and saw their ruin. 25,000 fell. 600 fled into the wilderness, to the rock of Rimmon. But Israel did not stop. They burned the cities, sweeping the filth from the land. The wind howled, and then silence reigned after the battle. Thus ended the judgment of Gibeah. Israel had burned cities, erased Benjamin from the face of the earth. Yet the victory tasted of ashes.